Show me how you manually pleasure girls. Human, Luna demands, her alien eyes gleaming with curiosity. Adam Henderson freezes, his diplomatic mission suddenly teetering on the edge of disaster. The Iridian homeworld's purple sky looms overhead as Adam stands on the landing pad, the sleek shape of his shuttle cooling behind him. He's here for one reason: to secure the advanced technology Earth needs to defend against the Zorn Empire's impending invasion. But now, faced with Luna's blunt request, he realizes the negotiations have taken an unexpected turn. Luna, a stunningly beautiful Iridian female assigned as his liaison, stands before him, her iridescent skin shimmering in the alien sunlight. Her question hangs in the air, laden with implications Adam can't ignore. He's acutely aware of the surveillance devices capturing every moment of this exchange, transmitting it directly to the Iridian High Council. Adam's mind races. He can't afford to offend his hosts, but he also can't jeopardize Earth's chances of obtaining the crucial technology. He attempts to deflect, his voice steady despite his inner turmoil. Luna, I'm not sure that's appropriate for our current situation. Luna's expression hardens. It's vital for our understanding of human culture. We must know if you're compatible with our society. Adam's heart sinks as he realizes the weight of this moment. The High Council is watching, judging, deciding if humans are too prudish for an alliance. Earth's fate rests on his next move. With a deep breath, Adam nods. I understand. If it's necessary for our negotiations, I'll comply. Luna leads him towards a private chamber, and Adam notices unfamiliar Iridian medical devices lining the walls. A flicker of concern crosses his face as he wonders about the true nature of Luna's request. Unknown to Adam, another human shuttle touches down on the far side of the spaceport. Marcus Blackwood, a rival diplomat with his own agenda, steps out. His eyes narrow as he spots Adam in the distance. Marcus quickly makes his way to a group of Iridians waiting in the shadows, led by Zornak, an elder with secret ties to the Zorn Empire. Is everything in place? Marcus asks, his voice low and urgent. Zornak nods, a sinister smile playing on his alien features. Yes, Luna will ensure we have the leverage we need to discredit your rival and derail the negotiations. The technology will never reach Earth. As Adam follows Luna into the private chamber, the doors sliding shut behind them, he remains oblivious to the political machinations surrounding him. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance, dependent on his ability to navigate this delicate cultural exchange and secure the alliance Earth so desperately needs. As Adam follows Luna into the private chamber, the doors slide shut behind them with a soft hiss. The room is bathed in a soft, ambient light that highlights the array of unfamiliar Iridian medical devices lining the walls. Adam's eyes dart from one strange apparatus to another, his diplomatic training kicking in as he tries to decipher their purposes. Luna turns to face him, her iridescent skin shimmering under the alien lighting. These devices will help us understand your physiology better, she explains, gesturing to a nearby console. It's crucial for our negotiations that we comprehend human pleasure responses. Adam swallows hard, his mouth suddenly dry. The weight of Earth's fate presses down on him, and he nods slowly. I understand. How do you want to proceed? Luna's alien eyes meet his, a mixture of scientific curiosity and something else. Something almost predatory, gleaming in their depth. Show me, she says simply, her voice low and commanding. Taking a deep breath, Adam steps closer to Luna. His hands tremble slightly as he reaches out, gently placing them on her shoulders. The texture of her skin is unlike anything he's ever felt before, smooth yet slightly textured, like fine silk over scales. As Adam begins to demonstrate human manual stimulation techniques, he's startled to see Luna's skin begin to change color. What starts as a soft lavender hue slowly deepens to a rich, vibrant purple. Her breathing quickens, and a soft, melodic sound escapes her lips. Fascinating, Luna breathes, her voice taking on a husky quality. Your touch. It's affecting me in ways I didn't anticipate. Adam's diplomatic mind races, trying to process this new information while maintaining his composure. He continues his ministrations, carefully observing Luna's reactions. Her skin temperature rises, and he notices small bioluminescent spots beginning to glow beneath her skin. "Luna," he says softly, "I think your erogenous zones might be different from humans. Can you guide me?" Luna nods, her eyes half-lidded with pleasure. She takes Adam's hand and guides it to a spot just behind her ear. As his fingers brush against it, Luna gasps, her entire body shuddering. The bioluminescent spots flare brightly, casting an ethereal glow around them. The intimacy of the moment is palpable, far beyond what either of them had anticipated. Adam finds himself drawn in by Luna's alien beauty, the diplomatic implications of their encounter momentarily forgotten as they explore this new territory together. Suddenly, a high-pitched whine fills the air. The medical devices lining the walls begin to flash and beep erratically. Luna winces, her hands flying to her ears. "Something's wrong," she says, her voice strained. Adam snaps back to reality, his training kicking in. He quickly scans the room, identifying the source of the malfunction, a large cylindrical device near the far wall. "Luna, how do we shut these down?" Together they move swiftly through the room, Luna providing instructions as Adam helps her deactivate the malfunctioning equipment. Their movements are synchronized, a testament to the trust that's developed between them in this short time. As the last device powers down, they stand together in the center of the room, breathing heavily. Luna looks at Adam with newfound respect. "You handled that well," she says. "Perhaps humans are more adaptable than we initially thought." Before Adam can respond, the chamber doors slide open. Caxilor, the imposing head of Iridian Planetary Security, stands in the doorway flanked by several officers. His expression is grim. "Adam Henderson, Luna," he says, his voice deep and resonant. "The High Council has called an emergency session. They've received concerning footage from your encounter." Adam's heart sinks as he realizes the implications. He glances at Luna, whose skin has paled to a light blue, a sign of distress, he assumes. As they're escorted out of the chamber, Adam's secure communicator buzzes against his wrist. He glances down to see an urgent message from Earth's Central Command. "Warning. Unauthorized transmissions detected from Iridian homeworld to Zorn Empire frequencies. Possible security breach. Proceed with extreme caution." Adam's mind reels as he processes this new information. As they're led down a long, ornate corridor towards the High Council chambers, he catches sight of a familiar face, Marcus Blackwood. The rival diplomat leans casually against a wall, a smug smile playing on his lips as he watches Adam and Luna pass. The pieces start to fall into place in Adam's mind. The manipulated footage, the security breach, Marcus's presence. It all points to a carefully orchestrated plan to sabotage the negotiations. As they approach the massive doors of the High Council chambers, adorned with intricate Iridian symbols, Adam feels the weight of the situation bearing down on him. He knows that beyond these doors lies a diplomatic minefield that could make or break Earth's alliance with the Iridians. Luna's hand brushes against his, a subtle gesture of support that doesn't go unnoticed by Adam. He meets her eyes, seeing a mixture of concern and purpose that mirrors his own feelings. The doors begin to open with a low, rumbling sound. Adam straightens his posture, his mind already formulating strategies to navigate the complex web of intrigue he's found himself entangled in. As they step forward into the chamber, he knows that every word, every action in the next few moments will be crucial. The High Council members sit in a semicircle before them, their alien faces unreadable. Adam takes a deep breath, preparing to face whatever accusations and challenges await him. The fate of Earth's defense against the Zorn Empire hangs in the balance, and he's determined to turn this potential disaster into a diplomatic triumph. As the massive doors of the High Council chambers swung open, Adam and Luna stepped forward into a cavernous room. The air felt thick with tension, and Adam's heart raced as he took in the scene before him. The Iridian leaders sat in a semicircle, their alien features impassive as they regarded the newcomers. Adam's eyes swept across the room, noting the ornate decorations and advanced technology seamlessly integrated into the architecture. At the center stood Zornak, his elder status evident in the elaborate robes he wore. Without warning, Zornak activated a holographic display that flickered to life in the middle of the chamber. Adam's breath caught in his throat as he recognized himself and Luna on the screen. The footage, however, was not as he remembered it. The intimate encounter he had shared with Luna appeared distorted and aggressive. In the manipulated video, Adam's actions seemed rough and demeaning, a far cry from the gentle exploration they had experienced. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the council members, their reactions a mixture of shock and disgust. Before Adam could protest, Caxelor stepped forward, his imposing figure casting a shadow across the floor. "Esteemed council," he began, his voice grave, "we have detected unauthorized transmissions to the Zorn Empire." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. The signal originated from within these very chambers. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room. Council members turned to one another, their expressions a mix of disbelief and suspicion. Adam felt their eyes on him, the newcomer, the obvious suspect in their minds. Luna, however, was not content to let the accusations stand unchallenged. She moved closer to the holographic display, her keen eyes scanning the footage. "Honorable Council," she said, her voice clear and confident, "I must point out several discrepancies in this recording." Adam watched in amazement as Luna meticulously highlighted the edited sections of the video, explaining how the intimate act had been consensual and part of a cultural exchange. Her impassioned defense caught him off guard, and he felt a surge of gratitude and admiration for her. As Luna spoke, Adam's gaze wandered across the room, taking in the reactions of the council members. It was then that he noticed Marcus Blackwood, standing near the edge of the chamber with a smug expression. Adam's eyes narrowed, suspicion growing in his mind. Marcus seized the moment of confusion to step forward. "Council members," he said, his voice dripping with false concern, "I'm afraid the situation is far worse than you realize." He produced a data pad, holding it up for all to see. "I have evidence that Adam Henderson is, in fact, a Zorn spy." The chamber erupted into chaos. Council members shouted over one another, some calling for Adam's immediate arrest, others demanding to see Marcus's proof. Amidst the commotion, Adam's trained eye caught a glimpse of something unusual. Beneath Zornak's elaborate robes, a small device emitted a faint pulsating glow. The design was unmistakably Zorn in origin. In that instant, the pieces fell into place in Adam's mind. Without hesitation, Adam lunged forward, his body moving on pure instinct. He tackled Zornak to the ground, the elder's surprise evident in his strangled cry. As they tumbled to the floor, the hidden device clattered across the polished surface, its alien design now visible to all. Caxelor reacted swiftly, scooping up the device and examining it with expert eyes. "This is Zorn technology," he confirmed, his voice tight with anger. Zornak, exposed as the true traitor, scrambled to his feet and made a desperate dash for the exit. He didn't get far. Two Eurydian guards materialized seemingly out of nowhere, their strong arms restraining the elder before he could escape. Marcus, realizing his carefully laid plan was unraveling before his eyes, attempted to slip away in the confusion. He had barely taken 2 steps when Luna's hand clamped down on his shoulder with surprising strength. "Going somewhere?" she asked, her voice low and dangerous. The High Council, now fully aware of the true conspiracy, turned their attention back to Adam. The Eurydian leader at the center of the semicircle stood, raising a hand for silence. "Adam Henderson," he began, his voice carrying the weight of authority, "we owe you a profound apology. Your quick thinking and bravery have exposed a threat we failed to see." As Luna translated the council leader's words, Adam felt a wave of relief wash over him. The tension that had been building since his arrival on the Eurydian homeworld began to dissipate, leaving him feeling suddenly drained. The council leader continued, "In light of these events, we wish to proceed with our technology-sharing negotiations. We invite you to continue as Earth's representative, recognizing the need for a strong alliance against the Zorn Empire." Adam opened his mouth to respond, but the words never came. The stress of the situation, combined with the lingering effects of his intimate encounter with Luna, suddenly overwhelmed him. His vision blurred, and he felt his legs give way beneath him. As Adam began to fall, he felt Luna's strong arms catch him, cradling his body against hers. Through the haze of encroaching unconsciousness, he heard her voice, tinged with worry, calling for medical assistance. The last thing Adam saw before darkness claimed him was Luna's face, her alien features filled with concern and something else, something that looked remarkably like affection. As his eyes closed, Adam couldn't help but wonder how this unexpected connection with Luna would shape the future of his mission, and perhaps the fate of two worlds. Worlds. Adam's eyes fluttered open, the harsh light of the Iridian medical bay forcing him to squint. The familiar hum of medical equipment filled his ears as he tried to piece together what had happened. Luna's face swam into view, her bioluminescent spots pulsing with what Adam now recognized as concern. "You're awake," she said, relief evident in her voice. "We were worried." Adam attempted to sit up, but a wave of dizziness forced him back down. "How long was I out?" he asked, his voice hoarse. 3 Earth days, Luna replied, her hand resting gently on his arm. "Dr. Zira has been monitoring you closely." As if on cue, the Iridian doctor approached, her multifaceted eyes scanning a holographic display. "Fascinating," she murmured, more to herself than to her patient. "Adam, your body is undergoing some remarkable changes." Adam's brow furrowed. "Changes? What do you mean?" Dr. Zira adjusted the display, allowing Adam to see a complex array of charts and diagrams. "Your intimate encounter with Luna seems to have triggered a unique biochemical reaction. Your body is adapting to our atmosphere and gravity at an unprecedented rate." Luna leaned in, her eyes wide with amazement. "Is that even possible?" "Apparently so," Dr. Zira replied. "If this continues, Adam may be able to survive on our world without special equipment, something we thought impossible for humans." Adam's mind reeled at the implications. He flexed his fingers, suddenly aware of a tingling sensation just beneath his skin. What does this mean for the negotiations? For our alliance? Before Dr. Zira could respond, the door to the medical bay slid open. Caxilor strode in, his imposing figure filling the room with an air of urgency. "Adam, Luna, your presence is required immediately. The High Council has called an emergency meeting." Adam swung his legs over the side of the bed, surprised at how steady he felt. Luna offered her arm for support, but he found he didn't need it. As they followed Caxilor through the winding corridors of the Iridian complex, Adam noticed subtle changes in his perception. Colors seemed more vivid, and he could pick up faint scents he'd never detected before. They entered a small, dimly lit chamber where the High Council members waited. The air crackled with tension as Zornak, the eldest council member, began to speak. "Adam Henderson, recent events have placed you at the center of a potential interstellar conflict," Zornak said, his voice grave. "Your unique adaptation to our world has made you an object of great interest and great danger." A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the room, showing a massive Zorn battleship entering the system. Adam's heart raced as he realized the implications. "They're demanding your surrender," Caxilor explained, his voice tight with almost unchecked anger. "They're threatening to destroy our planet if we don't comply." Luna's hand found Adam's, squeezing it tightly. "We can't let that happen," she said fiercely. The council members exchanged glances before Zornak continued. "We have a plan, but it's not without risk. We propose using you as bait to lure the Zorn ship into a trap." Luna's grip on Adam's hand tightened. "No!" she exclaimed. "It's too dangerous. There must be another way." Adam remained silent, weighing the options in his mind. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, and he found himself at the center of it all. As he opened his mouth to respond, a commotion outside the chamber drew everyone's attention. The doors burst open, revealing a team of human scientists led by a stern-faced woman. "I'm Dr. Elena Volkov," she announced, her eyes locking onto Adam. "We're here under orders from General Marcus Steele to study and potentially replicate Adam's transformation." The room erupted into chaos as accusations and demands flew back and forth. Adam felt a strange sensation building within him, a warmth that seemed to pulse in time with his racing heart. He looked down at his hands, his eyes widening in shock, as he saw a faint bioluminescent glow beginning to emanate from his skin. Dr. Volkov pushed her way through the crowd, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of scientific curiosity and something darker. "This is remarkable," she breathed, reaching out to touch Adam's glowing skin. Luna stepped between them, her posture protective. "He's not a lab rat," she hissed. As tensions in the room reached a boiling point, alarms began to blare throughout the complex. Caxelor's communicator crackled to life, delivering a chilling message. "The Zorn battleship has breached our outer defenses. They'll be within firing range in less than an hour." Adam looked from the concerned faces of the Iridian Council to the determined expressions of Dr. Volkov and her team, then finally to Luna, whose eyes shone with a mixture of fear and unwavering support. He knew that his next decision would shape the future of human-Iridian relations and potentially turn the tide in the battle against the Zorn Empire. With a deep breath, Adam stepped forward, his newly glowing skin casting an ethereal light across the chamber. "I have an idea," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "But we'll need to act fast, and I'll need everyone's cooperation." All eyes turned to Adam as he began to outline his plan, the fate of two worlds hanging on his words. Words. His mind raced, weighing the lives at stake against the risks of his plan. The room fell silent, all eyes fixed on him, waiting for his decision. "I'll do it," Adam said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We'll use me as bait to lure the Zorn ship into your trap." Luna's grip on his hand tightened, her bioluminescent spots pulsing with concern. "Adam, are you sure? This is incredibly dangerous." He turned to her, his newly glowing skin casting a soft light between them. "It's our best chance to protect both our worlds. I have to try." Dr. Volkov stepped forward, her face a mask of frustration. "We need more time to study these changes. Your body is adapting at an unprecedented rate. We can't just—" "There is no more time," Caxelor interrupted, his voice sharp. "The Zorn will be within firing range in less than an hour. We must act now." The High Council nodded in agreement, and preparations for the mission began immediately. As Adam was led to a nearby chamber to be outfitted for the operation, he felt a strange sensation coursing through his body. His muscles tensed and relaxed, growing denser with each passing moment. Dr. Volkov, still protesting the rushed nature of the plan, approached Adam with a small device. "At least let me implant this subdermal tracker. It will monitor your vitals and gather data during the mission." Adam nodded, wincing slightly as the device was inserted beneath his skin. As he flexed his arm, testing the implant, he was surprised by the ease with which he lifted a nearby piece of equipment. "What's happening to me?" he asked, staring at his hand in wonder. "Your muscle density has increased significantly," Dr. Volkov explained, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her objections. "You now possess strength comparable to a Iridian." Luna, who had been watching the proceedings with a mixture of concern and admiration, stepped closer. "This could be useful if things don't go according to plan." As the final preparations were made, Adam and Luna were led to a small, agile Iridian ship. A skilled navigator named Zira was introduced as their pilot. The vessel was sleek and maneuverable, perfect for the deception they were about to attempt. Caxelor briefed them one last time before departure. "Remember, your goal is to appear vulnerable. Activate the distress beacon once you're in position. The Zorn must believe you're easy prey." Adam nodded, his heart racing as he boarded the ship with Luna. As they took their seats, he noticed her watching him intently. "What is it?" he asked. "Your skin," she replied, her voice filled with awe. "It's adapting to resist cosmic radiation. I've never seen anything like it." Before Adam could respond, Zira announced, "We're ready for takeoff, initiating launch sequence." The ship hummed to life, smoothly lifting off from the Iridian surface. As they broke through the atmosphere, Adam felt a moment of vertigo, his body adjusting to the lack of gravity. Yet within seconds, the sensation passed, replaced by a feeling of comfort he'd never experienced in space before. As they moved into position, Luna activated the distress beacon. "Now we wait," she said, her eyes scanning the vast emptiness around them. They didn't have to wait long. The massive form of the Zorn battleship appeared on their sensors, rapidly closing in on their position. "It's working," Zira announced, her voice tense. "They're taking the bait." As the Zorn ship loomed closer, filling the view screen with its imposing bulk, Adam felt a flicker of doubt. Had he made the right decision? The lives of two worlds hung in the balance, and suddenly the weight of that responsibility felt crushing. Luna, sensing his unease, reached out and took his hand. The moment their skin made contact, a surge of shared bioluminescence erupted between them, bathing the cabin in a brilliant, pulsating light. The unexpected illumination startled all three occupants, but its effects didn't stop there. The ship's interior began to change, panels sliding away to reveal hidden compartments filled with advanced weaponry. The control console transformed, displaying holographic interfaces that even Zira had never seen before. "By the ancient ones," Zira gasped, her hands hovering over the new controls. "This ship, it's not what we thought it was." As they marveled at the ship's transformation, a harsh jolt rocked the vessel. The Zorn battleship had locked onto them with a tractor beam, slowly pulling them towards its docking bay. "We're caught," Zira announced, her voice tight with tension. "What do we do now?" Adam's mind raced, processing the rapidly changing situation. The original plan was in jeopardy, but the newly revealed technology offered unexpected possibilities. As the Zorn ship's docking bay doors began to open, Adam felt another change overtaking him. His vision sharpened, colors intensifying and new patterns emerging. He could see energy flowing through the Zorn ship's hull, revealing a complex network of power distribution. And there, near the base of the tractor beam emitter, he spotted a vulnerability. "I can see it," Adam said, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and tenacity. "There's a weak point in their defenses. If we can hit it with these new weapons, we might be able to break free and turn the tables on them." Luna and Zira looked at him, their expressions a mix of hope and uncertainty. The fate of two worlds now rested on their next move, with the Zorn docking bay yawning open before them. Adam's hand hovered over the newly revealed weapons controls, his enhanced muscles tensed and ready. The moment of truth had arrived, and everything hinged on what they did next. Time seemed to slow as Adam's finger hovered over the weapons control. In that fraction of a second, he felt a surge of energy coursing through his body, connecting him to the ship in ways he couldn't have imagined. Suddenly, the interior of the vessel began to change. Panels slid away, revealing hidden compartments filled with advanced weaponry. The control console transformed, displaying holographic interfaces that even Zira had never seen before. "By the ancient ones," Zira gasped, her hands hovering over the new controls. "This ship, it's not what we thought it was." As they marveled at the ship's transformation, the hull began to morph. The once simple craft became a sleek, highly advanced vessel, its capabilities now matching, if not surpassing, those of the Zorn battleship. The sudden metamorphosis caught the Zorn off guard. Their tractor beam faltered, and the docking bay doors ground to a halt. Adam seized the moment, his heightened senses guiding his actions. "There," he said, pointing to a specific area on the holographic display. "That's their shield generator's weak point. If we hit it just right." Luna nodded, her fingers dancing across the new controls. "Targeting systems locked. Ready when you are, Adam." Adam took a deep breath, feeling the ship's systems as if they were extensions of his own body. With a thought, he unleashed a precise burst of energy that struck the Zorn battleship's vulnerability. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The massive ship's shields flickered and died, leaving it exposed. Zira's eyes widened as she monitored the battle situation. "The Iridian fleet, they're decloaking all around us." True to her words, dozens of Iridian ships materialized from seemingly empty space, surrounding the now vulnerable Zorn battleship. The trap had been sprung, and the tide of battle was turning. As the space around them erupted into a furious firefight, Adam felt another change overtaking him. His nervous system began to interface directly with the ship's controls. It was as if the boundary between his body and the vessel was dissolving. "I can feel every system," he said, his voice filled with awe. "It's like I am the ship." Luna watched him with a mixture of fascination and concern. "Adam, your skin, it's changing again." Indeed, Adam's skin now shimmered with a metallic sheen, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's energy fluctuations. He paid it little mind, focusing instead on the battle at hand. With his newfound connection to the ship, Adam piloted with unprecedented precision, weaving through the chaos of combat with inhuman skill. Luna coordinated with the Iridian fleet, her quick thinking and Adam's incredible piloting, allowing them to outmaneuver the Zorn fighters at every turn. Zira managed the ship's power systems, ensuring they always had energy where they needed it most. As the battle raged, Adam felt a strange sensation in his mind. The ship's database was opening to him, flooding his consciousness with ancient Iridian knowledge. The influx of information was overwhelming, causing him to momentarily lose focus. The ship lurched, nearly colliding with a Zorn fighter. Luna quickly took over the controls, steadying their course. "Adam, what's wrong?" He shook his head, trying to clear the flood of information. "So much knowledge. It's too much to process." Before Luna could respond, a chilling announcement came from Zira. "The Zorn battleship, it's charging its main weapon. They're targeting the Iridian homeworld." Adam's mind raced, drawing upon the ancient knowledge now at his disposal. In a flash of insight, he saw a solution. Risky, but possible. "We need to intercept that blast," he said, his voice filled with purpose. "I can create an energy field to absorb and redirect it." Luna's eyes widened. "Adam, that's insane. The amount of energy—" "It's the only way," he interrupted, already guiding their ship into position. As the Zorn weapon reached full charge, Adam closed his eyes, focusing all his energy and newfound abilities. A shimmering field materialized around their ship, just as the devastating beam struck. The energy was immense, far beyond anything Adam had anticipated. He felt it coursing through the ship and into his body, every cell screaming in protest. Yet he held on, channeling the power, redirecting it back towards the Zorn battleship. The resulting explosion was blinding. When the light faded, the Zorn battleship hung in space, crippled and vulnerable. The combined Iridian and human fleets pressed their advantage, forcing the remaining Zorn ships into a hasty retreat. Inside their ship, Luna rushed to Adam's side. He lay motionless, his body pulsing with strange energies. "Adam, can you hear me?" His eyes fluttered open, unfocused and glowing with an inner light. "Luna, something's happening to me. I can feel it, changing me." Zira quickly set a course back to the Iridian homeworld, pushing the engines to their limits. As they raced through space, Luna held Adam's hand, watching helplessly as his body continued to transform at the molecular level. Upon landing, a team of medical experts, led by Dr. Volkov and Dr. Zira, rushed Adam to a secure facility. Luna refused to leave his side, her face etched with worry as they began their examination. Dr. Volkov's eyes widened as she looked at the initial scans. "This is incredible. His DNA is rewriting itself, incorporating both human and Iridian genetic structures." Dr. Zira nodded, her expression a mixture of awe and concern. "It's as if he's becoming a perfect hybrid of our species, but the process is highly unstable." As they worked frantically to stabilize Adam's condition, he slipped into a coma-like state. Luna stood by, her hand pressed against the isolation chamber's glass, watching the man she had come to care for deeply as he hovered between two worlds, no longer fully human, yet not quite Iridian. In the corridors outside, a flurry of activity signaled the High Council convening an emergency session. The events of the day had set in motion changes that would reshape the future of both their species. As diplomats argued and scientists theorized, Adam lay at the center of it all, his transformation holding the key to mysteries both ancient and new. Luna's voice was barely a whisper as she watched Adam's unconscious form. "What's happening to you, Adam? And what does it mean for all of us?" "Us?" Luna whispered, her eyes fixed on Adam's transforming body. As if in response to her question, Adam's vital signs began to fluctuate wildly. Alarms blared, and the medical team rushed into action. Dr. Volkov and Dr. Zira huddled around the monitors, their faces etched with concern. "His DNA is restructuring at an unprecedented rate," Dr. Volkov announced, her voice tight with tension. "It's as if his body is trying to incorporate Iridian genetic material." Dr. Zira nodded, her eyes widening as she studied the readouts. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a complex strand of genetic code. "It's unlike anything I've ever seen. A perfect blend of human and Iridian DNA. Luna, her heart racing, stepped closer to Adam's isolation chamber. As she placed her hand on the glass, something extraordinary happened. Adam's vital signs stabilized, and the chaotic restructuring of his DNA seemed to slow and become more orderly. Dr. Volkov noticed the change immediately. "Luna, what did you do?" I just touched the glass," Luna replied, bewildered. The medical team exchanged glances, a new theory forming. Dr. Zira approached Luna cautiously. "Would you be willing to make direct contact with Adam? It seems your presence has a stabilizing effect on his condition." Luna nodded without hesitation. As the isolation chamber opened, she stepped inside and gently took Adam's hand. The effect was instantaneous. A soft, bioluminescent glow enveloped their joined hands, spreading slowly up their arms. Adam's body relaxed visibly, his breathing becoming more regular. The monitors showed his hybrid transformation progressing more smoothly, the human and iridian elements integrating with greater harmony. Outside the medical facility, a different kind of tension was brewing. General Marcus Steele, commander of Earth's stealth fleet, stood before the Iridian High Council, his face a mask of awe-inspiring frustration. "I demand access to Adam Reeves and all research related to his condition," Steele insisted, his voice echoing through the council chambers. "He's a citizen of Earth, and we have a right to ensure his well-being." The Iridian counselors exchanged uneasy glances. One of them, a tall, silver-skinned female named Lyra, stepped forward. "General Steele, we appreciate your concern, but Adam is under the best possible care. Our medical facilities are more than equipped to handle his unique condition." Steele's eyes narrowed. "And what exactly is his condition? We've received no information since his ship docked." Before Lyra could respond, Caxelor entered the chamber, his expression grave. He whispered urgently to the head counselor, whose face paled at the news. The head counselor stood addressing both Steele and his fellow Iridians. "We have a more pressing matter at hand. We've received intelligence that the Zorn Empire is planning another attack. They seem to be after Adam and the ancient Iridian ship." A murmur of alarm spread through the chamber. Steele's posture stiffened, his military training kicking in. "How reliable is this intelligence?" Caxelor stepped forward. "Reliable enough that we're initiating emergency protocols. But there's more." He paused, his gaze sweeping the room. "We have reason to believe there are Zorn sympathizers within our own government." The chamber erupted into chaos. Accusations flew, and counselors turned on each other with suspicion. Amidst the uproar, Caxelor noticed a small group of counselors exchanging furtive glances. Back in the medical facility, Dr. Volkov made a startling discovery. Analyzing the data from Adam's subdermal tracker, she identified a pattern in his physiological changes. "It's not random," she explained to Luna and Dr. Zira. "The hybridization follows a specific sequence encoded in the dormant iridian gene. This could mean... It might be reversible," Dr. Zira finished, her eyes lighting up with hope. Luna, still holding Adam's hand, felt a surge of emotion. "Can we bring him back? Make him human again?" Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the facility. Zira burst into the room, her face pale with urgency. "The ancient ship," she gasped. "It's activating on its own." As if on cue, Adam's body arched, his eyes flying open. But instead of his normal gaze, his eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. The ship's systems began transmitting vast amounts of data directly into his mind. "It's overwhelming him," Luna cried, tightening her grip on Adam's hand. Zira's eyes widened in recognition. "The legends," she whispered, "the Nexus being. The ship is preparing him." Outside, the sky lit up with the fiery streaks of entering spacecraft. The Zorn attack had begun, catching both the Iridians and Earth's fleet off guard. As battles erupted in orbit, Adam's body began to emit a powerful energy field, interfering with Iridian technology and disrupting the ongoing space battle. In the council chambers, Caxelor's security team moved swiftly, apprehending the suspected Zorn sympathizers. The head counselor, his face grim, turned to General Steele. "It seems we have no choice but to combine our forces," he said. "The fate of both our worlds may depend on it." As chaos reigned both in space and on the ground, the ancient Iridian ship began to reconfigure itself. Tendrils of energy extended from the vessel, reaching towards the medical facility where Adam lay. Luna, acting on pure instinct, climbed onto the bed beside Adam, wrapping her arms around him. As their bodies touched, a surge of shared bioluminescence enveloped them both. The ship's energy merged with the field surrounding Adam and Luna, and a blinding light engulfed the entire complex. In that moment of brilliant illumination, the battles in space seemed to pause. All eyes, Iridian, human, and Zorn, turned towards the pulsating light emanating from the planet's surface. As the light intensified, everyone present knew that the fate of their species, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung in the balance. Balance. As the light intensified, everyone present knew that the fate of their species, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung in the balance. The blinding radiance pulsed once, twice, then collapsed inward with a thunderous implosion. As the light dissipated, it revealed a landscape transformed beyond recognition. Where once stood the medical facility, a hybrid structure now rose, its architecture a seamless blend of sleek Iridian design and the organic curves of the ancient ship. At the heart of this new creation, Adam's eyes fluttered open. His body, no longer fully human nor entirely Iridian, pulsed with an otherworldly energy. His skin shimmered, alternating between smooth human texture and iridescent Iridian patterns. Beside him, Luna stood in awe, her own form subtly altered, hints of Iridian characteristics ghosting beneath her human exterior. Adam sat up, his movements fluid and precise. He locked eyes with Luna, a silent understanding passing between them. As he extended his hand, the hybrid structure hummed to life, holographic displays materializing around them. "I can feel it all," Adam whispered, his voice resonating with newfound power. "The ship, the facility, the knowledge of ages. It's all here, inside me." Luna squeezed his hand, her touch grounding him. "What do we do now?" Before Adam could respond, alarms blared throughout the structure. Outside, the space battle raged on. But something had changed. Zorn ships tumbled out of formation, their systems failing inexplicably. Meanwhile, Iridian and Earth vessels moved with increased agility, their weapons striking with unprecedented accuracy. Dr. Volkov burst into the room, her eyes wild with excitement and fear. "Adam, Luna, the hybrid structure is emitting some kind of signal. It's disrupting Zorn technology and enhancing ours." Adam nodded, his eyes distant as he processed the information flowing through his mind. "It's more than that. I can see everything. Our past, our future. Humans and Iridians, we share a common ancestor. That's why the hybridization was possible." Dr. Zira joined them, her medical scanner humming as she examined Adam. "Your abilities, they're beyond anything we've seen. You're manipulating energy fields at will." To demonstrate, Adam raised his hand. A nearby console flickered, its display changing rapidly as he interfaced with it mentally. But the effort visibly drained him, causing him to sway slightly. Luna steadied him, concern etched on her face. "It's taking a toll on you. We need to be careful." In the council chambers, chaos erupted. Caxilor's security team moved swiftly, cornering the suspected Zorn sympathizers. Blaster fire erupted, scorching the ornate walls as loyalists and traitors clashed. "Surrender now!" Caxilor shouted, his weapon trained on a cornered counselor. "Your treachery ends here." The firefight was brief, but brutal. When the smoke cleared, several bodies lay motionless on the chamber floor. Caxilor surveyed the scene grimly, knowing that while they had rooted out the immediate threat, the Iridian leadership now lay in shambles. Aboard the Earth stealth fleet, General Marcus Steele watched the unfolding events with growing interest. The hybrid structure's capabilities and Adam's transformation presented an opportunity he couldn't ignore. "Prepare a covert extraction team," Steele ordered his second-in-command. "We're bringing Adam and that technology back to Earth. Diplomatic consequences be damned." As the Earth forces prepared their covert mission, another threat approached. The Zorn Empire, reeling from the unexpected turn of events, had dispatched their elite commando unit. Led by the ruthless Commander Vexilor, the unit employed advanced cloaking technology to slip past the Iridian defenses. Adam, still connected to the hybrid structure, sensed the converging threats. His eyes snapped open, filled with willpower. We need to protect this place. The knowledge, the technology, it's too dangerous in the wrong hands. With a thought, Adam extended his consciousness outward. A shimmering energy field materialized around the hybrid structure, expanding to encompass a significant portion of the surrounding area. The effort left him gasping, sweat beading on his brow. Luna, acting on instinct, placed her hand on Adam's shoulder. To their mutual surprise, she felt a surge of energy flow through her. The protective field stabilized, its glow intensifying. "How did you do that?" Adam asked, his breathing steadying. Luna shook her head in wonder. "I don't know. It's like I can tap into your abilities. Share the load." Dr. Volkov, observing their interaction, began furiously typing notes into her datapad. "This connection between you two, it's unlike anything we've seen. Luna, you're manifesting similar abilities, albeit at a lower level." As Adam and Luna worked to maintain the protective field, the Iridian population outside reacted with a mix of fear and awe. Crowds gathered at the edge of the energy barrier, some falling to their knees in worship. "The Divine Ones have returned!" a voice cried out, sparking a fervor among the onlookers. Inside the barrier, Dr. Volkov approached Adam with a concerned expression. "Your hybrid physiology, it's still in flux. If we don't stabilize it soon, there's no telling what might happen." She held up a device, its surface covered in complex circuitry. "I've developed a theory. A calibrated energy pulse could lock your genetic structure in its current state. It would prevent further changes, but it might prevent me from ever becoming fully human again," Adam finished, understanding the implications. As Adam contemplated this decision, alarms blared once more. The hybrid structure's sensors had detected multiple incoming threats: Earth's covert team, the Zorn commandos, and a contingent of Iridian forces led by Caxilor. Luna turned to Adam, her expression a mix of tenacity and fear. "What do we do? Stay here and keep the barrier up, or go out there and face them?" Adam's gaze swept across the hybrid structure, taking in the ancient knowledge and power at their fingertips. He then looked at Luna, Dr. Volkov, and Dr. Zira, the people who had stood by him through this incredible journey. With a deep breath, he made his decision, knowing that whatever choice he made would shape the future of not just himself, but potentially the entire galaxy. Galaxy. Adam's eyes met Luna's, and in that moment they both knew what had to be done. "We can't stay here," Adam said, his voice resonating with newfound authority. "Hiding behind this barrier will only lead to more conflict and misunderstanding." Luna nodded, her hand still intertwined with his. "We need to face them, show them what we've become." With a shared thought, they lowered the protective energy field. The shimmering barrier dissipated, revealing the hybrid structure to the awestruck Iridian populace gathered outside. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd as Adam and Luna emerged, their hybrid appearances causing a mix of reverence and fear. As they stepped forward, Caxilor approached, flanked by a contingent of Iridian security forces. His expression was a mix of caution and hope. "Adam, Luna," he addressed them, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent gathering. "On behalf of the Provisional Iridian Government, I come with a proposal. We ask that you demonstrate your abilities publicly to help our people understand and trust you." Adam exchanged a glance with Luna, then nodded. "We agree. It's time to bridge the gap between our species." Raising his hand, Adam focused on a nearby building damaged in the recent conflicts. Energy flowed from his fingertips, enveloping the structure. Before the astonished eyes of the onlookers, crumbling walls reassembled, shattered windows reformed, and twisted metal straightened itself. A collective gasp rose from the crowd, followed by excited chatter. Caxilor's eyes widened in amazement. "Incredible," he breathed. As Adam continued to repair damaged infrastructure throughout the city, Luna sensed a shift in the crowd's emotions. Fear gave way to wonder and hope. She turned to Caxilor, her eyes glowing softly. "Your people are beginning to understand, but there's more happening that you need to know." Before she could elaborate, a commotion erupted at the edge of the gathered crowd. Dr. Volkov pushed her way through, clutching a device to her chest. "Adam! Luna!" she called out, breathless from her rush. "I've completed the research. This device can stabilize your hybrid physiology, but we need to act quickly." As Dr. Volkov approached, Adam's heightened senses detected movement in the shadows of nearby buildings. His eyes narrowed, focusing on barely visible distortions in the air. "We have company," he said quietly to Luna and Caxilor. "Earth's extraction team, using cloaking technology." Caxilor's hand moved to his weapon, but Luna placed a restraining hand on his arm. "Wait," she said, her eyes closed in concentration. "There's more. The Zorn. They're attacking the outskirts of the city." As if confirming her words, distant explosions echoed across the city. Panic began to spread through the crowd. Adam raised his voice, projecting calm authority. "Everyone, remain calm. We will protect you." Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet trembled. The ancient Iridian ship, still merged with the hybrid structure, began to transform. Mechanical tendrils extended from its surface, snaking through the city streets and burrowing into buildings. A network of glowing energy conduits spread rapidly, connecting every corner of the Iridian capital. Adam and Luna felt their connection to this vast network intensify. In an instant, they became aware of every individual in the city, every movement, every thought. They sensed the Earth extraction team closing in, the Zorn commandos advancing, and the fear rising among the Iridian population. "Caxilor," Adam said urgently, "mobilize your forces. We have multiple hostile groups converging on our position." As Caxilor barked orders into his communicator, Luna closed her eyes, concentrating on the approaching threats. With a surge of mental energy, she established a telepathic link with the leaders of each faction. General Marcus Steele, Commander Vexilor, and Caxilor suddenly found themselves transported to a shared mental space. Luna's voice echoed in their minds, accompanied by vivid images of potential futures. "See what your actions will bring," she said, her mental voice resonating with power. "A future of destruction, where all our civilizations fall." The leaders watched in horror as their conflict escalated, leading to the annihilation of Earth, Iridia, and even the mighty Zorn Empire. The vision was so real, so visceral, that when it ended, all three leaders found themselves shaken to the core. In the real world, their forces hesitated. The shared vision transmitted to every soldier and commando. The three-way battle that had been about to erupt instead became a tense standoff. Adam seized the moment. Using the ancient ship's communication systems, he broadcast his voice across the city and to the ships in orbit. "Humans, Iridians, Zorn, hear me. We stand at a crossroads. Our species share a common ancestor, a truth hidden by time but revealed through my transformation. We have the potential for greatness, for cooperation that could reshape the galaxy. Or we can destroy each other, fulfilling the vision you all just witnessed." As Adam spoke, he demonstrated his hybrid abilities, manipulating energy fields to create dazzling displays of light and power. His words, combined with the lingering impact of Luna's vision and the awe-inspiring demonstration, began to sway hearts and minds across all factions. The tense atmosphere started to dissipate, replaced by a cautious optimism. But just as it seemed peace might prevail, a high-pitched whine cut through the air. Commander Vexilor, his face contorted with desperation, activated a hidden Zorn weapon. A pulse of sickly green energy struck Adam and Luna, sending them crashing to the ground. They writhed in agony as the weapon disrupted their hybrid physiology, threatening to tear apart the delicate balance they had achieved. Dr. Volkov, seeing her friends in distress, knew her stabilization device might be their only hope. She sprinted towards them, dodging through the chaos that had erupted anew. Just as she neared Adam and Luna, a stray energy blast knocked the device from her hands. The crucial piece of technology skidded across the ground, teetering on the edge of a deep fissure opened by the recent tremors. Adam, fighting through excruciating pain, reached out with his mind. The device quivered, then flew into his hand. With the last of his strength, Adam activated the stabilizer. A cocoon of swirling energy enveloped him and Luna, lifting them off the ground. The device pulsed, sending waves of recalibrating energy through their bodies. The ancient Iridian network lit up like a supernova, channeling the energy from Adam and Luna throughout the entire city. For a moment, every piece of advanced technology went dark. Weapons failed, shields dropped, and ships in orbit lost power. In the sudden silence that followed, all eyes turned to the fading energy cocoon. Adam and Luna emerged, transformed once again. Their appearances now perfectly balanced human and Iridian features, a living symbol of the harmony possible between their species. Hand in hand, they faced the assembled leaders and soldiers of three worlds. The fate of their civilizations hung in the balance, waiting for their next words. Words. Their transformation had brought a new balance, not just to their own bodies, but to the volatile situation around them. The assembled leaders and soldiers stood in awe, weapons lowered, as Adam and Luna's appearance settled into a perfect harmony of human and Iridian features. Their skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, eyes glowing with an inner light that spoke of both species' potential. General Steele was the first to break the silence. What are you?" Adam's voice carried across the suddenly quiet battlefield. "We are the future, a bridge between our peoples." Luna nodded, her gaze sweeping over the gathered forces. "We stand as living proof that cooperation is possible, that our differences can become our strengths." Commander Vexilor, his earlier aggression replaced by curiosity, stepped forward. This power, it could change everything. Caxilor, still processing the implications of what he'd witnessed, addressed the assembled crowd. "Perhaps it's time we lay down our arms and discuss what this means for all of us." As if in response to his words, the weapons of all factions powered down simultaneously, an unexpected side effect of the energy surge. The sudden absence of the hum of charged particle beams left an eerie silence. General Steele, ever the pragmatist, seized the moment. "I propose a ceasefire. We need to understand what's happened here before we take any further action." Agreement rippled through the ranks of all three factions. As the leaders began to arrange a formal meeting, Adam and Luna found themselves at the center of attention. Soldiers and civilians alike approached cautiously, drawn by a mixture of fear and fascination. A young Iridian scientist, her eyes wide with wonder, asked, "Can you understand me?" Without translation, Adam smiled, responding in flawless Iridian. "We can. Somehow our transformation has given us the ability to comprehend and speak all languages." Luna added, switching effortlessly to the guttural tones of the Zorn language. "We can bridge the communication gap between all our species." This revelation sent a ripple of excitement through the crowd. General Steele, overhearing the exchange, immediately grasped the implications. "You two could be invaluable in the negotiations. No more misunderstandings or translation errors." As preparations for the talks began, Dr. Volkov approached Adam and Luna, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. "I need to run some tests. The energy surge from the stabilization device, it may have had unforeseen consequences." Before they could respond, a commotion erupted from the edge of the gathering. A group of Iridians, their faces contorted with rage, pushed through the crowd. At their head was a tall, imposing figure with deep-set eyes and ritual scarring across his face. "Abominations!" he shouted, pointing an accusing finger at Adam and Luna. "You defile our pure Iridian blood with your human taint." Caxilor stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Drelkar, stand down. This is not the time or place for your extremist views." But Drelkar was beyond reason. With a guttural cry, he and his followers surged forward, brandishing makeshift weapons. "Death to the hybrids! Death to those who would pollute our race!" Adam and Luna reacted instinctively. Energy crackled around them as they raised a shimmering barrier, deflecting the initial wave of attackers. The extremist weapons clattered harmlessly against the force field, their cries of outrage turning to shouts of surprise. As Caxilor's security forces moved to contain the threat, Adam and Luna worked in perfect synchronization. They expanded the barrier, carefully pushing back the attackers without causing harm. Their movements were fluid, graceful, a dance of power and control. General Steele watched in amazement as the two hybrids effortlessly subdued the extremists. "Incredible," he murmured. "With abilities like that, they could turn the tide of any battle." Commander Vexilor, his tactical mind racing, nodded in agreement. Imagine an army with such powers. The Zorn Empire would be unstoppable. As the last of Drelkar's followers were restrained, a new commotion arose. Dr. Volkov's voice cut through the chaos, her tone urgent. Adam! Luna! Something's happening! They turned to see a group of humans and Iridians near the impact site of the energy surge. The individuals were clutching their heads, their bodies shimmering with a familiar energy. Before their eyes, subtle changes began to manifest, human skin taking on a slight Iridian sheen, Iridian features softening into more human-like appearances. Dr. Volkov's eyes were wide with a mixture of scientific excitement and concern. The hybridization, it's spreading. Those closest to you during the surge are showing signs of transformation. This revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled crowd. Some recoiled in fear while others stepped forward, eager to experience the change themselves. The delicate peace that had been forming began to fracture as opinions polarized. Amidst the growing tension, the ground beneath their feet trembled once more. The ancient Iridian ship, still merged with the hybrid structure, began to pulse with energy. Tendrils of light spread outward, forming an intricate web that expanded rapidly across the Iridian capital. Adam and Luna felt a surge of connection to the spreading network. In an instant, their awareness expanded, encompassing the entire city and beyond. They could sense the fear, the excitement, the conflict brewing in every corner of the Iridian homeworld. As they grappled with this influx of information, alarms blared from the Iridian command center. Caxilor rushed to a nearby console, his face paling as he read the incoming data. "We have a new problem," he announced, his voice grave. "Long-range sensors have detected a massive Zorn fleet entering the system. They'll be here within hours." The news hit like a shockwave. The fragile alliance that had been forming now faced its first true test. As leaders scrambled to assess their options and soldiers prepared for a potential invasion, all eyes turned to Adam and Luna. Standing at the center of the maelstrom, the two hybrids shared a look of grit. They had become more than individuals. They were now the living embodiment of cooperation between species. As the Zorn fleet approached and the hybridization effect continued to spread, Adam and Luna knew that their next actions would shape the fate of not just two species, but potentially the entire galaxy. With the weight of this responsibility on their shoulders, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The true test of their newfound abilities and the unity they represented was about to begin. The true test of their newfound abilities and the unity they represented was about to unfold. As the Zorn fleet's approach sent waves of panic through the assembled crowd, Adam and Luna exchanged a determined glance. They knew their next move would be crucial. "We need to unite," Adam announced, his voice carrying across the tense gathering. "Humans, Iridians, Zorn, we must stand together against this threat." Luna nodded, adding, "Our differences are our strength. Together, we can repel this invasion." Their words struck a chord. General Steele, Caxilor, and Commander Vexilor huddled together, quickly discussing strategy. Within minutes, they emerged with a united front. "We agree," General Steele declared. "A combined defense is our best chance." As if on cue, the ancient Iridian ship pulsed with energy, its systems fully integrating with the city's infrastructure. Adam and Luna felt a surge of connection, their hybrid physiology resonating with the ancient technology. "We can use this," Luna said, gesturing to the ship. "It's not just a relic, it's a command center." They led the way into the ship, marveling as dormant systems sprang to life at their touch. Holographic displays flickered into existence, showing the approaching Zorn fleet in vivid detail. Outside, the hybridization effect continued to spread. Dr. Volkov, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear, approached a group of affected individuals. "Fascinating," she muttered, scanning them with a handheld device. "The changes are accelerating, but they're stable." One of the newly hybridized soldiers flexed his hand, watching as energy crackled between his fingers. "I feel different, stronger." General Steele, seeing the potential, turned to Dr. Volkov. "Can you control this process? We need every advantage we can get." The scientist's eyes lit up. "With the right equipment and some Iridian assistance, I believe I can. Within hours, a makeshift lab was set up. Volunteers from all three species lined up, eager to undergo the hybridization process. Dr. Volkov worked tirelessly, fine-tuning the procedure with each subject. Meanwhile, in the ancient ship, Adam and Luna coordinated the defense. They found they could interface directly with the ship's systems, their hybrid minds processing information at incredible speeds. The Zorn fleet will be in range in 2 hours, Adam announced, his voice echoing through the command center. Commander Vexilor stepped forward, his expression grim. I know their tactics. They'll try to overwhelm our defenses with sheer numbers. Luna nodded, manipulating a holographic display. Then we need to be smarter. We'll use the planet's natural defenses to our advantage. As they planned, the first wave of hybrid soldiers emerged from Dr. Volkov's lab. General Steele put them through their paces, marveling at their enhanced strength and agility. Form up, he barked, organizing them into squads. We'll integrate you with our existing units. Your abilities could turn the tide of battle. A commotion near the lab drew attention. A group of Zorn soldiers, led by Commander Vexilor, approached Dr. Volkov. We volunteer, Vexilor stated, his voice firm. If we're to fight together, we should share in this transformation. Dr. Volkov hesitated only a moment before nodding. Very well, this could yield fascinating results. As the Zorn underwent the process, Adam and Luna activated the ancient ship's defensive systems. A shimmering energy field expanded outward, enveloping the entire Iridian homeworld. This shield will buy us time, Luna explained to the assembled leaders, but it won't hold forever against a sustained assault. General Steele nodded grimly. Then we make every second count. The next hour was a flurry of activity. Hybrid squadrons took to the skies in fighters that merged the best of human, Iridian, and Zorn technology. On the ground, mixed units of regular and hybrid soldiers took up defensive positions. As the Zorn fleet entered the system, the shield flared to life, deflecting the initial barrage. The space above Iridia erupted into a dazzling firefight as hybrid squadrons engaged the enemy. Adam and Luna stood at the heart of it all, their minds linked to the ancient ship's systems. They coordinated the defense with inhuman precision, anticipating Zorn maneuvers and countering them before they fully developed. They're trying to punch through Sector 7, Adam called out, his eyes glowing with energy. Luna responded instantly, redirecting a squadron of hybrid fighters to reinforce the area. The attackers were repelled, but more took their place. On the planet's surface, the battle raged. Hybrid soldiers demonstrated their newfound abilities, turning the tide of ground engagements. The tri-species hybrids, products of Vexilor's Zorn volunteers, proved especially effective, their adaptive abilities allowing them to overcome any obstacle. Yet despite their efforts, the sheer numbers of the Zorn fleet began to tell. The shield flickered, weakening under the relentless assault. We can't hold them much longer, Luna warned, her face strained with effort. As if in response to her words, alarms blared throughout the command center. An elite Zorn strike team had breached the planetary defenses, making a beeline for the ancient ship. Adam and Luna shared a look of stubborn persistence. They knew they couldn't abandon their post without jeopardizing the entire defense. Yet if the strike team succeeded, all would be lost. As they grappled with this dilemma, a new complication arose. The hybridization effect, pushed to its limits by the stress of battle, began to accelerate beyond control. Across the battlefield, soldiers on both sides began to exhibit rapid, unpredictable changes. Adam and Luna felt the surge of energy, recognizing the potential catastrophe. They knew they had to act, but doing so would require a sacrifice. We have to stabilize the process, Adam said, his voice heavy with the weight of the decision. Luna nodded, understanding the implications. It's the only way. Together they reached out to the ship's core systems, preparing to link their minds directly to the ancient technology. As they did so, the Zorn strike team burst into the command center, weapons blazing. The fate of multiple species hung in the balance as Adam and Luna began their bold strategy. The battle for Iridia and perhaps the future of galactic evolution had reached its critical moment. As Adam and Luna prepared to link their minds with the ancient ship's core, the Zorn strike team burst into the command center. Weapons fire lit up the room, but the two hybrids remained focused on their task. They placed their hands on the pulsing core, and a surge of energy enveloped them. In an instant, their consciousness expanded beyond the confines of their physical forms. The ship's energy network became an extension of their very beings, spreading outward like a web of light. It touched every individual involved in the conflict, human, Iridian, and Zorn alike. The effect was immediate and profound. Across the battlefield, weapons lowered as combatants were struck by a wave of shared understanding. A Zorn soldier, poised to fire on a human squadron, suddenly found himself experiencing flashes of his enemy's childhood. Iridian defenders felt the weight of Zorn cultural expectations, the drive for conquest that had shaped their society for generations. In orbit, the captain of a Zorn battlecruiser ordered his gunners to stand down, overwhelmed by the sudden empathy for those he had been trying to destroy. Fighters from all sides hung motionless in space, their pilots linked in a moment of universal comprehension. On the ground, General Steele lowered his weapon, his eyes wide with wonder. "I can feel them," he whispered. "All of them. Their fears, their hopes. They're just like us." Caxelor, standing nearby, nodded in agreement. "This changes everything." At the heart of it all, Adam and Luna's physical forms began to change. Their bodies pulsed with energy, leaving trails of shimmering light as they moved. They approached the assembled leaders, their eyes glowing with newfound power and understanding. With a gesture, Adam created a holographic representation of the galaxy. It hung in the air, a swirling map of stars and planets. "Look," he said, his voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. "See how we are all connected." Luna waved her hand and the hologram zoomed in on specific worlds. "Humans, Iridians, Zorn, we share common origins," she explained. "Our differences are superficial compared to our shared essence." The Zorn fleet commander, who had transported down to the surface upon sensing the change, stepped forward. His face, usually set in a stern expression, now showed a mix of awe and regret. I understand now. This war, our conquest, it's all been so pointless." He turned to face General Steele and Caxelor. "On behalf of the Zorn Empire, I offer our unconditional surrender. More than that, I offer our hand in friendship." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as leaders from all factions gathered to draft a historic peace accord. Adam and Luna, still connected to the ship's systems, worked to stabilize the hybridization process that had been accelerated by the battle. They established a network of energy nodes around the planet, creating a system that allowed individuals to control the extent of their own hybridization. Some, like Dr. Volkov, eagerly embraced the full integration of all three species' traits. Others chose a more conservative approach, opting for minor enhancements while retaining much of their original physiology. As the sun rose on a new era of peace, Adam and Luna stood atop the ancient Iridian ship, overlooking the capital city. The signs of battle were already being erased, replaced by scenes of cooperation and shared purpose. "We've only scratched the surface of what this ship can do," Luna said, running her hand along its hull. "It's not just a weapon or a tool. It's a repository of knowledge from a civilization far older than any of ours." Adam nodded, his mind already racing with the possibilities. "This could accelerate our scientific and cultural development beyond our wildest dreams. But it's not just about us anymore," Luna finished his thought. "This gift, it needs to be shared." They looked at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. Their journey, which had begun with a chance encounter and a moment of intimacy, had led them to this point. Now, they stood as the bridge between worlds, the key to a peaceful future for the galaxy. As the newly formed Interspecies Council convened to discuss the future, Adam and Luna made their decision. They would embark on a journey across the stars, sharing the gift of controlled hybridization and promoting the message of unity they had discovered. Preparations began immediately. A new ship was constructed, combining the best technologies from all three species with the ancient knowledge from the Iridian vessel. It was a sleek, powerful craft, capable of crossing vast distances of space with ease. On the day of their departure, crowds gathered to bid farewell to the two hybrids who had changed the course of history. Adam and Luna stood at the entrance to their ship, looking out over the sea of faces, human, Iridian, Zorn, and every combination thereof. General Steele approached them, his expression a mix of gratitude and concern. "Are you sure about this? We still have so much to learn from you both." Luna smiled, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "The greatest lessons are those you discover for yourselves. We've given you the tools. Now it's up to all of you to build something remarkable with them." With a final wave to the cheering crowd, Adam and Luna boarded their ship. As the engines hummed to life, they took their positions at the control console, their movements in perfect sync. The ship rose smoothly into the air, its hull shimmering with the same energy that now flowed through its pilots. As it accelerated towards the stars, Adam turned to Luna, a familiar glint in his eye. "So," he said, his voice playful, "now that we've saved the galaxy, how about we review those manual pleasure techniques that started this whole adventure?" Luna laughed, the sound a perfect blend of human joy and Iridian harmonics. As their ship broke free of the planet's atmosphere and set course for distant stars, she leaned in close to Adam, her eyes shimmering with the promise of new discoveries, both scientific and personal. The vastness of space stretched out before them, filled with worlds waiting to be explored and civilizations yet to be united. For Adam and Luna, it was not an end, but a beginning, the first step on a journey that would reshape the galaxy, one world at a time.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.